So, good morning, everyone. I hope you are all ready with the group discussion topics and we can have our group discussion today. Are we ready with it? Are we ready to do the group discussion? That's a yes and no question. Do not worry if you are not ready. Please inform so that it's easier for the teacher to work on other stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Mehak, for the reply. So, I take it as a reply from the entire group that we are not ready for the group discussion today. Right, so I'm taking that as a no for the entire group. So I understand there was a little gap in between due to the holiday that came. So what we'll do is today I'll deal with a new topic. Today I'll be dealing with a new topic. What you need to do is you prepare for group discussion. Topics have already been assigned. We have already formed the groups. Everything has happened. So what you need to do is I'll not postpone it any further in the next week, right? So for next week, when we meet in the lab session, we are supposed to do group discussion, right? We do not do anything else in the next week, right? Right. So that's an okay from everyone. So today, what I'll do is I'll deal with a topic which is called interview. Interview skills. Now, if you have been looking carefully at the topics that have been given to us in unit number 3, everywhere after the topic it is written skills. Okay. Everywhere, if you notice, let's say presentation skills, interview skills, communication skills. Now, by adding this word skills, what they're trying to help us with is that we already know that everybody of us has read a lot about interviews. We have also had a experience about how interviews go because of our seniors or our friends in the higher semester. But what is this skill part? Skill part means over here, if you take up whatever topics that we have been dealing with in unit 3, the skills part, right? Why do they call it skills? So here, as we are students of a graduation program, it is understood that you have quite a good knowledge about the basics of it. Now what do we require? We require the polishing part. That's why it's called the skills. Okay, we need to understand the steps and we need to polish ourselves. That's what why it's interview skills, right? So is there anybody who would like to give some opening remarks for it? Fine, I consider this as a no. So let me start with the introduction. Most of us know what are interviews and how interviews take place. The most widely used process for selection of an appropriate candidate for job purpose. Interview is what it is all about. Now, to understand it in a very simple form, it would be just a question answer session. It's a question answer session. Okay, it's a question answer session. Somebody asks a question, and there is one person who's going to answer it. Right? So, in simpler terms, interview skills are how tactfully and how nicely you can answer a question that has been asked to you. Now, these questions will actually be based on these questions will actually be based on the post for which you are applying. Right? Few questions remain common for all branches of study. Few questions would be pertaining to the branch. Now, what happens over here is it is actually a kind of interaction between two or more individuals. Let's say in an interview, you might have a one to one interview, or you might also have a panel and one person being interviewed by a panel of three or five people. Usually, it is three people, at times five as well, but three is the most common way of interviewing. Now, what happens is nobody is interviewed directly. This entire process, remember, we had group discussion as a part of the selection process. Selection in the sense getting selected for a job. Now, this is actually a threefold process that happens. It begins with a written test. The next step would be group discussion. And if you clear group discussion, then you become eligible for a personal interview or a PI, as you term it. Right? Now, why is it important to see or to talk to the person? You get a first hand experience about the person's personality, his or her skills, knowledge, etc. It's a first hand experience. Right? Remember, our elders, our ancestors have always told, do not trust anybody other's words. At times, you can't even trust your own hearings or sightings. Don't trust what you see. Look deeper. Right? So, this interaction session that you have in interviews, it actually gives you a insight into how the candidate thinks in a particular or a given situation. So what is the purpose? There are different purposes of having interviews. So first purpose is getting selected. That's the one which we are focusing on. Second is after you are into the job, for job promotions also we have interviews which are held. They're called the promotion interviews. Performance appraisal. Performance appraisal means increase in salaries. Performance appraisal. Appraisals according to your performance. You have interviews. How have you worked? Would you explain the nature of your working? Things like that. Exit opinions. Now, here what happens is when you are leaving an institute for good or bad, whatever so the reason be, the human resources department, the HR department, gives an exit interview. Now, exit interviews are kept, it's actually a kind of a feedback for the entire company or the entire organization, which helps the organization to improvise. Now, let's say, why are you leaving the institute? You know, you've been a employer with us since so many years and you have certain opinions, you know, your appraisal system is not proper, or other people take credit of it, you don't see or you don't get to the level where others are thinking, etc. So that's exit opinions. That could be the purpose. And counseling, right? You have one-to-one interaction with your mentors. It would be like a sort of a small interview. So how are you doing these days? uh, are you facing some problem with your studies? Remember, now you can recollect. These incidences have happened with you. Now you can recollect that when you are meeting your mentors, when you are meeting your faculties, when you are meeting somebody outside, a counseling session happens, right? For the purpose of counseling. So you want to opt for some subject, you want to opt for some career line. How does it happen? By counseling. You know, people will ask, so what do you think? What is your aim? You know, your dad is an engineer, so you want to pursue that or you want to go in a different direction. A question answer, trying to find out, trying to counsel according to what you are thinking. So that could be the purpose of interviews. Now what we notice as teachers, or we notice as people who have been giving us feedback in the real time, in the real world, that is when we have a campus interview in our campus, when people are taking interviews and then we get a feedback, how did the student, we need to know, right, where do we want our student to improve. So what happens is, it's not that the interview is a problem, it's not that the technical knowledge is a problem, and it's not that the language is a problem. Problem is the person becomes nervous. The problem is that the person becomes nervous. Most of us, we live with the notion that, ma'am, how can I speak, in front of such a big person? Or I'm giving the interview for the very first time. What do I do? Those thoughts that come over our mind, they are responsible for us not answering questions or not performing well. When you sometimes you might also have gone through this feeling, in the exam for the very first time when you were giving a viva, an oral test or maybe a written test. Sometimes the mind goes blank. You're like as if the question paper has come from some other planet. You have never heard of any word in the question paper. And then after 10-15 minutes you calm down, you relax, and you suddenly start writing, forming questions, and then you suddenly realize you know everything, right? So what is the biggest problem that comes, or the biggest hindrance that comes in interviews, is nervousness. So as a person, how do you overcome the nervousness? See, it is easier to teach in theory, but it is a matter of practice. If you practice well, then and then you will be able to overcome it. Now, what are the things you can do? Remember, when you have been selected for the interview process, when you have been selected for the interview process, it means you have already gone through two stages. You have already gone through two stages of scrutinization, and you have been successfully overcoming those two stages. So it's not that you have been directly stepped or you have been pushed into giving a personal interview. You at least you proved yourself twice, you can prove yourself thrice. So the simple mantra, if you call it, is you should relax yourself. You should relax yourself. So how do I relax, madam? Remember, the job that you are applying for is something that is new, that is going to happen in your life. Till now, let's say, till now the job was not there, but your life was going on. You were learning, you were growing, you were falling, you were getting up again. Now, when you are giving this interview, it is a chance to prove your learnings, the experiences that you have gained by falling, getting up, falling again. This is a chance to prove. It's an opportunity for you. Think of it as a chance. Sometimes, when you take a chance, you might succeed. Sometimes you may fall back. It does not mean that your chance has ended there. Again, when you fail an interview, you have got a learning experience, which will help you crack the next one. So, being nervous is never going to be helpful. In fact, it is injustice to judge somebody without he or she speaking properly, he or she being able to answer properly, right? So, remember, nervousness is something which comes from within. Nobody can counsel you to overcome it. Yes, there are simple ways of doing it. Now, as I said, whenever we have anything related to technical, it is actually always in three parts: the pre part, that is the before part, the during part, and the after part. Okay, pick up any activity. If you go back to any activity, there is a pre part, there is a during part, and an after part. Right now, in the interview portion, the pre part is preparing yourself not only physically but mentally. By physically I mean proper clothing, proper dressing, grooming yourself, etc. That you know very well. Why? Because you have seen people give interviews. You'd be researching as well, how does a person appear for it. So formal clothing, neat and clean, grooming, etc. That's not required to be informed to you. Now, what is the other part where you have to do a preparation, which we most of the times miss, is the mental part. Mental preparation is what we miss at times. So how do I overcome nervousness? Two, three things. Remember, we are human beings, not computers or robots. We might fail to answer a question or a few. That's absolutely fine. Or we might not answer according to the other person's expectation. But you are supposed to answer the question. That's the first step. Whether it's right or wrong is a secondary thing. With practice, you'll be comfortable answering things. Some of us, we feel really relaxed when we do a little breathing or yoga. Some of us feel relaxed when we listen to soft music. Some of us are relaxed when we play a little game or we talk to somebody. Do something to relax yourself. These are the different ways. Now, there is a typical jargon which is given, and you might be wondering, what is she talking about? The rowboat technique. Okay, it's actually the breathing technique where when you breathe, you contract and expand your stomach. Okay, you contract and expand your stomach. It's called the rowboat technique. Remember this because this could be one of the important MCQs that can be asked, which is one of the techniques to overcome nervousness. Now, here, overcoming nervousness could be nervousness is a part of public speaking, nervousness is a part of presentation, nervousness is a part of interview. The technique remains the same. It is one of the important techniques. So, mark this as an important question from the MCQ point of view. Usually, deep breathing, having a gulp of water would help a lot. You drink little water or tea, but don't overdrink where you burst, right? Moreover, remember, I'll give you a very simple example. Remember, do not rush into answering. Sometimes we feel, madam, only 2 minutes for introduction. He or she gave us only 2 minutes. Now you can put it on record. You can put it on record that when we introduce ourselves, the maximum we can speak is 45 seconds. The maximum that you can speak is 45 seconds. You'd be like, how come, madam? You can give it a try. We already know how to introduce ourselves. We already know how to introduce ourselves. Why don't you record it? Because when we speak orally, we don't have a record of how much we are speaking. When you do a recording, you'll understand exactly that you cannot go over a minute. Over a minute is too much. I'm saying 45 seconds. In between 30 to 45 seconds. Right? So calm down. Neither are you in a rush to go somewhere, nor are they in a rush to go somewhere. This time has been given to you. Think before you speak. Formulate the dialogue in your mind, which does not mean here, our madam said we have to think. You don't have to think for 5, 10, 12 minutes. Okay. When I say think before you speak is you have to think 35, 45 seconds or 1 minute at the max. That is, you know the answer, you just arrange it in a proper sequence. That's it. Arranging the information. That you have to do it before you speak. Now, when you have arranged it mentally, automatically it will come one by one. So, in that way, you'll be able to overcome your nervousness. Now, what are the different types of interview? What are the different types of interview? There are 4 major types. Please note this as important. There are 4 major types. See, there can be many types of interviews, but the 4 major ones that we are looking at is the campus interview, the on-site interview, telephone or the telephonic interview, and the video conference interview. Okay. So, what is a campus interview? Campus interviews are interviews that are held on the campuses of colleges and universities. Here, what happens is you might have an idea of the process that is happening on our campus as well. But here, what happens is companies give an advance notice. They inform the students or the college or the university in advance, right? They have a set schedule. So maybe they'll come, give presentations, they'll have a pre-placement talk with the students, they'll try to, drive you in the direction in which they're looking for, what kind of candidates are they looking for, or what is the work that they are looking for in a candidate. Usually, campus interviews are very brief and to the point, right? They don't go here and there. Why brief and to the point? Because they do not have long hours of time. Now, if you ask your friends in the higher semesters, if you ask your friends in the higher semesters, they tell you it's approximately 15-20 minutes per candidate if the number of candidates are less. That's why it's very brief and to the point. Because on the campus they'll not come directly. First they'll have a group discussion session with you, and then they'll scrutinize people and find out the ones who can be eligible for personal interview. Here please understand, this happens after the two steps, the written test and then the group discussion, and this is the third one. Then you have on site interviews. Now what are on site interviews? On site interviews are interviews that happen at the company premises. They don't come to the campus, but all over candidates from all universities can come to their campus or their premises. Now here what happens is, again, the candidates are shortlisted by going through their resume. Remember, we are supposed to write a cover letter and a resume. In the cover letter you mention that I have seen the advertisement for so and so post, etc. Now here when you are called on site, at times group discussion is not possible. At times group discussion might not be possible. So how is the candidate shortlisted? The candidate is shortlisted looking at the resume. Now after you are shortlisted, the company would inform you that your interview is scheduled on so and so date and so time, right? So that you can be present at the company premises. Now if you take these interviews that happen on site, these interviews are more detailed as compared to the campus interviews. These interviews are more detailed as compared to the campus interviews. Remember why? Because they have shortlisted the candidates by looking at the resume. They might have done it area wise. Let's say people who have applied from Rajkot on Monday, people who have applied from Morbi Tuesday, Jamnagar Wednesday. Now what happens when you are on the campus? On the campus they have to deal with all the students that are present and who are eligible. Here they might be flexible and they may divide it, like we'll have only 3 candidates or 4 candidates in a day. We're not giving her all day for interview. That's why campus interviews are a little less detailed and on-site interviews are a little more detailed, because it's the company that decides. When it comes on the campus, it's the campus that decides, right? So within that whole campus, they have to look for all the computer engineers if they are giving some work for computer engineering. Not only computer engineers, if the campus has MCA students, they also have to give chance to MCA, BCA students as well. Right? So what happens is, there the campus plays a role, here they play a role, they decide. That's why on-site interviews are detailed as compared to campus interviews. Right? Remember this information, this is also an important part of the information. Now telephonic interviews. Telephonic interviews happen in circumstances where the company does not have a branch in a specific area but wants to have candidates from a specific area. Now telephonic interviews, if you take, again, candidates are shortlisted according to the resume. A verification of the resume is done, and before they fix a time and date for interviewing, they'd inform the candidate and also seek their convenience. So is the time convenient to you? Is the date convenient to you? And once the candidate gives a confirmation, they'll send another mail of confirmation that your interview has been scheduled on this time, this date, and our HR representative will be calling you. Right? Usually, telephonic interviews are quite shorter as compared to face to face. When I say face to face interview, it will include both campus interviews and on site interviews. They're face to face, right? You see each other, you sit. Now, when I say telephonic interviews, it's a call on the mobile or on the phone. Okay, it's a call on the mobile or on the telephone where you don't see the person. It's not a video call, it's an audio call. Okay, so they are quite shorter than face to face interviews as compared. Now what do I mean by face to face? See here, to confuse the student, we can have two types of questions, MCQs. We can say that telephonic interviews are shorter than face to face interviews. That's the straightforward way of doing it. Now to give it a little twist, or to make it sound a little hard, so we can write that telephonic interviews are shorter than campus interviews, or telephonic interviews are shorter than dash interviews, and you have four options out of which you can select. So please remember, when I say face to face interview, it will include both the types, the campus interview as well as the on site interview, where you'll sit before somebody. Just a minute. Where you'll sit before somebody and you'll be giving, or you'll be taking the interview, right? So here both the words can be used, or we can use the word face to face to represent campus interviews and on-site interviews. Mark, this is an important question from the MCQ point of view. The last one is a video conference interview. Now this is most of the times used by multinational companies, and most of the time it is not used for hiring freshers but hiring people for senior posts, people with experiences. Now, the arrangement of the facility of video conferencing is made to save time, resources, and energy. Right? I have a post of some senior manager in my company which is situated in Canada. I cannot be traveling to India to take interviews for the same. Remember, it's very practical, it's of a very practical nature. I have to hire only one person, right? I cannot be traveling to different places and calling people. It would be a wastage of time, money, and resources. Okay, time, money, and resources. So what do? You'll arrange a video conferencing. Usually, not only job posts, but for certain educational uh, degrees as well. Before you seek an admission to the university or the college, they might have a video conference, a small little interview with you before giving you an admission, especially in the case of higher education, like acquiring your uh, a doctorate degree, right? The PhD. So we very well know that when you want to do PhD from a foreign country, you neither you can travel to that country to just give an interview. That's not meaningful. Nor can they travel here and take each and every individual candidate who has applied his or her interview. So video conferencing is a way out. It is quite similar to face interviews, but an additional touch of the modern technology. Now, video conferencing will include all kinds of applications that help you to video conference. It could be a WhatsApp video call, it could be a Skype call, it could be a Google Meet, Zoom. Now we have loads of applications which can help you connect and have a video conference. Okay, so video conference interviews are similar to face to face, but they have a touch of the modern technology. Now here the MCQ which can be asked would be, or could be, of the nature that dash kind of an interview is similar to a face to face interview but with the help of modern technology, or dash kinds of interviews have usage of modern technology. Right? So try to look in and around these topics, or mark this as important questions from the examination point of view, if in case we have MCQs in our exams. Then this one type of interview is more or less not to do with the candidate, but we need to know about media interviews. Why? Because they're important for a workplace. Okay, they're important in a workplace. Why are they important? Why are they important? They're important because they help to promote that particular organization, whether it is a business, government policies, or to create awareness. You'll have media interviews, right? So what happens in this case? The media, I mean to say the reporters and the interviewers, They'll take a prior appointment for the interview. Now what will happen is we'll be focusing on one particular topic and you'll not be distracted. I hope you have seen or you are well aware about different kinds of interviews that media conducts. One of the famous ones is, I think, Aapki Adalat, if you have an idea about it. Aapki Adalat, if I'm not wrong. It's a kind of a media interview that happens. And they have this basic concept in mind of answering. Now, if you see, they'll have a clear cut question. They'll be very clear with the question. Now, remember, media interviews can either brighten your game or spoil the entire game. Why? Because it's most of the times it is live and it is available to the public. There's no restriction on it. Let's say if you take other kinds of interviews, it's just between you and the interviewer. If you step out of the interview room, your interview has been horrible, and your friend asks, "How was it?" You say, "It was okay, okay. It was not fine. I was not able to answer questions." You don't ever tell anybody it's horrible, or nobody knows that it went horrible until and unless you speak or the interviewer speaks. Okay, until and unless either of the parties speak. Whereas if you take media interviews, because it is publicly available, everybody will listen to what you've said. So it becomes a little more formal kind of an interview. Here you need to really really think and prepare well before you hold any kind of a media interview. When if you see, if some company is producing a new product, they want to launch a product, and they'll have interaction with the media. This is the product, this is how they are going to work on, etc., etc. Do you really think that the product is working? Kind of things that happen. So here you have to be really assertive. You cannot push that we are the only ones who do it, and you say there would be many companies but ours is better, and you try to find out how yours is better. So whatever you speak in the media interviews, remember, are not for selecting candidates, but they are related with workplace. They are inevitably related to workplace situations where you will promote things, when you want to show the world the kind of work that you are doing. That's when you take the media. Here the media would take the prior appointment for the interview, and it is absolutely necessary to think before you speak, be assertive, aggression to be avoided, and negativity to be avoided. So here's our first reconnecting question. Telephonic interviews are more detailed than campus interviews. What do you think? Is the statement true or false? Excellent. You all have correctly answered it as fault. We have one more question. The difference between a media interview and an on-site interview. Uh, I'll again explain. On-site interview means it is a job interview in which the candidate goes to the premises of that particular company. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say Reliance Industries wants to have certain engineers joining them this year. Now, if Reliance Industry representatives, that is the human resource department, the HR department of Reliance Industry, when they come to Marwadi University and take the interview of the candidate at the university, it is known as the campus interview. Now, the same Reliance Industry, it says, no, we are not coming to Rajkot. We don't want to travel. Why can't the candidate? We have a interview. We have scheduled an interview. You apply for it, and you come to Jamnagar at Reliance Industries. You come to Jamnagar at Reliance Industries, and you give the interview. In that case, it becomes the same interview is called as on-site interview. Now, if you take media interviews, by media interview we mean we are not selecting a candidate, but Reliance Industries has come up with a new product. but people are questioning. Let's say when they initially released the Geo plan, the Reliance Geo plan, right? How can it be possible? Why are you giving it free? What is the benefit? Maybe the representative from Reliance Industry had an interview with the media personnel. Now, when I say a media personnel, I mean to say somebody who is a reporter, a news reporter, right? So in case, why am I, remember, the four types of interview for getting a job is different. Media interview is different, but we need to know media interview. Why? Because it is closely related to workplace situation. When you are in a business, you might also have to give a media interview, right? In media interview, you do not select the candidate, you promote your business. That's the biggest difference between the all four kinds of interviews that we have for selection and media interview. But we should know about media interview because it is related directly to our workplace. I hope I've been able to explain it as per the question. And if still you have doubts, you may ask, right? It's very good to ask questions. So as I said, you are absolutely correct. Telephonic interviews are in fact less detailed than campus interviews. They are less detailed than even on-site interviews. Right? So preparing for an interview, how do we prepare? How do we prepare? Now by preparation, I not only mean the questions, but everything which is, it's an all-inclusive preparedness. So very first point where we fall back is, we fall back to remember ourselves. In fact, you might remember the incident where we asked each other to introduce and we required some time. Frankly speaking, we should know ourselves. We've been living like this and we know ourselves since whatever number of years your age is. You should not be requiring time to know yourself. Right? That's what somebody would tell me. But remember, you are not supposed to tell everything to the interviewer. You are supposed to highlight your skills and your abilities in a particular situation. As I said, your resume cannot be the same resume you send everywhere. It has to be tailor made. Similarly, knowing yourself is also supposed to be tailor made. Tailor made means for one interview it is different, for interview number two it becomes different. Right? So, what things are you supposed to do? Remember, we are performing for the audience. Now, here you are performing for the potential employer. So, what is it that the employer is looking for? What is it that the employer is looking for? How do you connect your knowledge, your education with the position for which you are applying? Let's say, I'll give you an example of what I have known through engineers, a few of experiences that I have. Let's say there are a few people who have come into engineering, but it's not necessary they want to work in the same field. You know, there are this new trend of having an engineering degree in the bachelor's program and having a business degree in the master's program, a combination. Some of the master student would also go for an law degree or a law program, a combination. So what combination of your education would be useful for the position for which you are applying? In case here it is written work experience, you'll ask me, madam, I'm a fresher, what kind of work experience? Here you are supposed to not tell the working experience in a company, you are supposed to tell your working experience with people, project work you have done, participation in technical and non-technical events that have happened, participation in various clubs that your organization or your college university is running. Apart from that, what you not did in the college, but you had an additional class where you're very much interested into, let's say, graphic designing. So apart from the college education that you took some certification program in graphic designing. That is what you put here when we say work experience. So if I require somebody in my organization as a graphic designer, that's the post which I require. I, as a candidate who's applying, would have to tell them in the first few minutes when I'm introducing myself. I have to tell them, graphic designing has been my ultimate passion. Apart from college, long college years, I have taken a very good certification course, the best I could find in my city. Right. I was not even satisfied by that. I, worked for some of my friends and designed few graphics for them. So what will happen is, instead of just talking about what you have already written in the resume, you may also showcase the skills practically. They might ask you that, can you show us the website you designed, can you show us what you have done for your friends. As a part of just gaining experience, I did it. Right. Your abilities and skills here, as I said, if you take the example of a film or a movie, most of us love to watch movies. I hope you do like watching television. I hope we do like watching television. People in the batch, we like watching television, movies, series. Oh, yes. Great. Then the example would be a good one. So, we all like watching movies and series. What if in the movie or the series that you have, you just have one main character and or two main characters? There's no side character. Uh, let me give you an example of the Hindi cinema. Think of a very beautiful movie, any movie of your choice, and remove the comedian from the movie. Let's say there's a movie which is starring either Kader Khan or Johnny Liver. Now you remove all the parts where Johnny Liver is there. Will the main characters will they be able to pull off the dramatic effect in the same way? No. You cannot say yes they'll be able to pull it. We have to understand it will not happen. Why? You cannot have all the time fighting, fighting, fighting. Have you ever seen any movie where from the beginning, the very first minute of the movie till the very last minute of the movie, you see only fight scenes, or you see only people crying and tragedy happening, people dying? Do you only see there is always a love in the air and things happen like that only? No, it's a mixture. What happens is the main actors are supported by the supporting actors. The movie is supported, the story is supported. Now, how do I support my skills? I should be able to give examples to support the skills I have. All right. Let's say, Madam, I am a very good reader. I love to read and write. What have you written? Oh, I own my blog. You can look at my blog. That's the new technological diary, the upgrade that you have in handwritten diaries. I love to write poems. Can you recite one of your poems? Oh, I don't remember. You don't say like that. Right? I'm just giving examples of different skills a person may have, the different abilities a person may have. How do I prove my ability? By the supporting details. So, how do I have the supporting details? If I have done the work. Right? Let's say most of the people, when they are good readers and writers, they when they are good readers, they want to write, they want to express. So how do they express? They go to the medium of either writing small quotes. They might own a Facebook page, they might have an Instagram page, they might have a blog, they might have a website, etc. Showcase the work, showcase your skill, support yourself with examples every time, because with examples it becomes very easier to explain that the amount of work and skills that you carry. Right. So know yourself. How do you connect? How do you work with things? Second is know the employer. Research, research, research. You should know who the employer is, Who are the main people in the place where you'll potentially get your employment? What is their motto? What is their vision and mission? Why? Why should I know the person? Why should I know Reliance Industries? Let me say I take example of Marwadi University. Okay, I should know it's a university. It has different courses. Madam, your subject is English. Where do you want to teach? Such could be a question. Some potential question could be, why do you want to join our organization? There is Saurashtra University, there is Gujarat University, there is GTU. Now, if you take within Rajkot, there is RK University, Atmiya University, Marwadi University, Saurashtra University. Right? Why do you want to join our university only? Then you cannot say no because it is near to my house. I'll spend less time in traveling. I'll save my time. I cannot give such a reason. I have to align my objective with the university's objective. Right? Every university has its own objective. Let's say Marwadi University, the tagline. The tagline for Marwadi University is knowledge is the currency for 21st century. They want people who are updating themselves each and every day. They want people who want to work to achieve higher goals, who want to improvise. They don't want individuals who say we know it everything and we don't want to go further. I'll only educate through chalk and board. I don't want to use a projector. I don't know how to use a projector. Right? Align your objective. Align your objective with the potential company's objective as well. Align your objective with the potential company objective as well. Why? That is how you will work in collaboration with the company. And you'll be able to give a potentially good reason. Now, why do we need to still know about the company? What if they don't ask such a question? We need to know about the company because it generates the interest. Every one of us has a particular picture painted in our mind. When I will join my job, when I'll complete my degree, I want to job this kind of a company. Or you might have also shortlisted. Why have you shortlisted 1, 2, 3 companies? You like the features, their working styles, or maybe you like the place where they have set up, or you maybe like the opportunities that they have provided to their employees, or you like the amenities and facilities that are provided to their employees. Right? Develop questions in advance regarding to the organization for which you are applying, so that it is easier to answer if they question you in that case. Next, interview preparation. Now, there are 4 ways of preparing for the interview itself. Okay. First is the situational knowledge. You should know where and when the interview takes place. Some of us would be scratching our head and our friend calls up. Remember, we have an exam today. And you're like, today? No, it is scheduled on the 19th. He's like, you look at your calendar, it is 19th. This should not be the case when you are going for an interview. You should know when and where. When, that's the time and date. Where is the venue? Why the venue? We should not be running a marathon to your interview. Okay? You are huffing and puffing, and by the time you come to the interview, you have to sit 10-5 minutes. You are heavily breathing and you are in no condition. Your hair is flying somewhere. No, you cannot do that. The where part, see, usually if I travel to college, it takes me 15 minutes. So if my interview is scheduled at 8:30, I should be leaving my house by 7:50. In case there is traffic, blockage, some accident happening, it is better to arrive a little early to the venue before, or just by arriving on time. Now what happens is, if you arrive at the interview venue before time, you will have some time to observe. Some time to observe. When you observe things, you learn a lot. the ambience, the way of working. Now, see, let's say when your campus, you are quite familiar. You don't have to search for things. Maybe when you go to the on-site interview, what happens is you might have to search. They'll say, let's say somebody who comes to our university, somebody who's very new to our university might get lost in the A and B wing. Might get lost in the A and B wing. Right? Most of us are quite aware. Now, if they give you some location like MC501, we are aware where it is because we have been accustomed to that particular venue. Somebody who's new, he'll say this is A, this is B, where is C? So he might take that C is center. In the center we have computer labs. We don't have MC5. There is no 501. Then what to do? Where to search? Right. So arriving early on the venue helps you look at the venue properly, helps you observe, and what happens is you will reach the exact location, and then also you'll have some spare time in your hand. Next is the mental preparation. Right, then we'll have to go first to the physical preparation. By physical preparation, we not only mean dressing up well, we also mean to take plenty of rest. You should not have puffy eyes as if you're preparing overnight and you have come to the interview. Mental rest, sorry, physical preparation means taking plenty of rest, relaxing yourself. And if you have arrived, as I said, it's connected to the arriving early. When you have arrived early, you are relaxed. You are quite fine. Okay. Even if the interview starts half an hour late, is not your problem. You're there, you sit there, you can have a cup of tea or coffee, a glass of water, into try to mentally recollect things, etc. Then is mental preparation. In mental preparation, what do? You have a knowledge of the company, you have a background check, you have researched about the company, and you should also practice a mock interview. If question A is asked to me, how will I answer it? Right? You should always go through a mock interview. Now, there is also written preparation. What is the written preparation? Whenever you go to an interview, always have extra copies of your cover letter and resume. Also, have copies of your educational documents along with the originals. Do not forget the originals. Apart from that, you should carry formal passport size photographs. So there is nothing called formal passport size. When I say formal passport size, it means that you are in a formal dressing, not a wedding dressing or not a selfie that you keep. Okay, so carry extra passport size photographs with formal dressing in it. Have a habit of carrying your own pen. Have a habit of carrying your own pen. A small notepad of 5-10 pages you should keep in the folder for which, the folder that you carry in your interview. Arrange the documents. Arrange the documents. Now, if they ask that we want your graduation degree or we want your graduation mark sheet, you should not be flipping pages. No, there are beautiful folders available where you can just arrange it in a way. You have a label which says post graduation. You flip directly to that page, and immediately within few seconds, you can show them your graduation mark sheets. That's called preparation. Okay, you just dump everything in a file and you come, and then your papers are flying here and there. That should not be the case. When I say interview preparation, in case of written documents, it should be arranged. The originals in the front and the xeroxes at the back. Now, the same way the originals are arranged in the same order, you'll arrange your xeroxes. If they ask for a photograph, you should have a photograph. If they ask you to sign, you cannot ask the interviewer that, can I borrow your pen, please? I forgot my pen. Make sure not only keeping the pen, but keeping a working pen. The pen is not working. Last moment, where do I find it? That should not be the case. Preparation means you have checked everything, you have double checked everything. Make a note. Sometimes, see, I understand it's not easy to remember information. You might forget. Make a note of it, that this is the company I'm interviewing for. or if the name is a little weird or you cannot pronounce it, recall things. Ask questions. Ask questions to yourself. Also make a mental note of what kind of questions would you like to ask the employer. So it's not a one way communication, okay? It's two way. They might give you also a chance. What do you want to know? So what kind of questions would you like to ask at that particular time? Okay? What kind of questions would you like to ask at that particular time? Now, stages of the interview process. Mark, this is an important question from the exam point of view. What are the stages? Stage one is called the ice breaker. You might have heard the word ice breaker. Now, what happens in the icebreaker is we try to break the ice. That's a phrase. To break the ice means trying to know each other. So, where does it begin? It begins with introduction. You greet each other, you give a nod, a pleasant smile, a small talk is initiated in this phase. Here, the moment you enter, they'll not ask, what did you do in computer engineering? No, you wish each other, good morning, how are you, sir? I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? Please have a seat. And you sit down and you say thank you. So, well, they might see, remember, they're not just talking to you like that. They have a copy of the resume which they have also studied as a part of the preparation for interview. Right? So they'll say, okay, yes, Sahil, can you please tell us something more about yourself? What more? Everything is written on the resume. You read it. No. Here they're trying to tell you to talk about something which is not written on the resume and you want to highlight. Right? From there, that's the beginning part. Little discussions to make little comfort, and then they'll move on further. The next step is personal qualifications and interest in the position that you're applying. Now, here, remember, don't say that I scored this much in semester one, semester two. They don't want to know that. It's there in the resume. What do they want to know? So, I have been remaining college first. I've been having holding ranking constantly in each and every semester. I've been holding a ranking in the college. Right? How did you do that? With extra hard work that you did, which is what you have to highlight over here. And some of you might ask, madam, sometimes there are situations where in one particular semester your marks are less. What do I do in that case? In that case, you can tell about why did it go low. Let's say the family was into a situation. This is the best I could perform. It went 7 point something instead of the 8 and 9 which I regularly get. Moreover, here you are supposed to highlight your accomplishments and activities that can directly relate to the position for which you are applying. What kind of activities did you do? Let's say we as a team, I was in the team which developed the small teaser for admissions of Marwari University, or maybe the Marwari University festival. That small teaser, that is what we did. Just an example, right? So activities that you did and which you can showcase as well. Then the organization and the position. So the employer may try to check your knowledge of the company. So what do you know about this department? What do you know about our department in the organization? Right? Or maybe other general questions that may come would be, what would be your geographical preference? See, here sometimes some of us would would be in a stance by the use of the word geographical preference. They just mean to say, where would you like to work? In the same city, same state, you would like to move out of the state, out of the country, etc. So what are your willingness to locate or relocate? These are some of the questions. Do not worry, we'll come to the answering part as well. But this is the phase where they want to know, what do you know about the company? Do you know that the company has branches in other states, other countries, etc. Right? They have. Do you have an idea whether they have branches elsewhere as well? Next is the candidate question. Remember, it's not only that the interviewer is going to ask and you have to answer. You may also ask, but do not ask about how much are you going to pay me. Okay? What are you supposed to ask at this position? What are you supposed to ask in the interview? So, you may ask a few examples that I have given. These are a few. We can search for more and we will be discuss the question answer part. So, what things as a candidate you should be interested in asking? You should be interested in asking, like, what kind of job am I going to do? Is it just on site or will I be sitting in the office? What kind of responsibility roles will I get? You know, do you have some training, specific training that you provide for a company? Remember, whatever we are getting as a part of an education has different applications in different job situations, right? You just don't write the Pythagoras theorem. I'll take the example of a mathematical theorem that you have, Pythagoras theorem, or let's say Newton's laws of gravity. You don't just apply Newton said this, Newton said this. Just don't speak the lines which are there. You practically apply it, right? For each company it would be same. Whatever branch of education you are having, the application part will differ little from company to company. Remember, the basics don't change, but their way of working changes, right? The way of working changes. So what would be your job role? What kind of roles will you play? Or you may also ask, how do you work differently from similar kinds of companies, right? This could be some potential questions from the candidate side. This comes towards the very end of the interview. Next is close and follow up. Now, close and follow up is it's the final question, and you say thank you for the interview and time, and sending a thank you note within 24 hours is inevitable. You have to send a thank you note, right? When I say you have to, that's the company who's going to send it. Okay, not you. You are not saying going to say thank you for interviewing me. They say thank you for your time for the interview that you spared, and we'll be telling you about the recruitment or the final decision by the company within the next 15 days. And I have to tell you something, right? You cannot keep waiting or you cannot keep calling them every day. That's why it is inevitable for the interviewer to send a thank you note within the next 24 hours, and then there is their job to evaluate your performance and letting you know how you performed, right? Whether you are selected or not selected, or they want to have a second round of interview, whatever the decision they have taken, they are supposed to convey. Now, tips for a successful interviewing. Don't think like an employee, but think like an employer. If you were employing somebody, what kind of questions would you ask? What kind of questions would you ask? Remember, if you are jumping from one job to another, do not criticize the past workers. Be ready for controversial questions. Be aware that this is a controversial question. Maintain professionalism even if the interviewer does not. Be prepared for the unexpected. You cannot prepare everything for the interview, and everything cannot be asked from what you have prepared. They could be twists and turns, but be prepared for it. Okay, there can be a question which is twisted. You have to think in that way. Be aware of your body language. You are saying something and your body is saying something else, should not be the case. Be well groomed. By well grooming, we mean neat and clean hair, usage of a mild kind of a perfume, accessories that you should be wear should not be dazzling, dangling, big and large. Minimalistic should be there. Nails should be cut. Proper footwear should be there. Correct matching of colors in the clothing should be there, right? If you are wearing a wristwatch, a little professional kind of a wristwatch is what you wear. Remember, as I said, it's not only that the interviewer is going to ask questions, it is also you who are supposed to answer it, and you are also supposed to ask questions. Remember, it's not a yes and no. It's not a yes and no question in the interview. So, you are interested in the job? Yes, madam, I'm interested in the job. It's not like that. You have to elaborate. They know you are interested. That is why you are sparing those 15 minutes, getting ready, coming to the place, giving the interview. They know it. It's a yes, you are interested. But how are you interested? Why are you interested with one particular company? Right? Listen very, very carefully. We do not listen to the question and we want to answer. We are excited. We jump to answer the questions. Do not ever do that. Let the other person finish speaking. Listen carefully. If you have not understood, please ask again. You can say, pardon me, I did not get the question. If you could repeat it, please. And that's how you don't say, can you please repeat the question? You don't say like that. You say, pardon me. That's a way of saying, I'm really sorry, but I did not get what you are asking. Can you please ask me again? Right? Do not use general examples. Be very specific. Right? Let's say, I am of very helpful nature. I help every of my classmate. That's a very general answer. How can I be specific? So you can say one of my classmates was in quite in trouble with her project because her group project members were not turning up for some reason, and she was very troubled, or he was very troubled. So what I did is I tried helping the person after college hours, and he or she was able to complete the project. That's very specific. One person you helped, one incident where you helped, where you worked on it, right? Remember, the interview does not start with the greeting. Remember, the interview does not start with the greeting. The interview starts the moment you knock on the door. The interview starts the moment you knock on the door. I hope you can recollect when I said before you start speaking, your body starts speaking. So the moment you knock and enter, the moment you knock, it is started. Why? How you knock, how you pulled the chair, did you bang the door? Is the chair making a screeching sound? Are your feet moving? Everything is noticed. They are there to do that only, right? Be positive. By being positive, you will attract what is positive, right? So be positive about things. If you are well prepared, you are going to perform well only. So here's a reconnecting question. The candidate should not maintain professionalism if the employer doesn't. Excellent. You are quite correct that you are supposed to maintain professionalism. See, here by professionalism, what I mean to say, there could be a question like, so do you have somebody in the family who owns a business, runs a business, or similar kind of job post? And you say, yes, one of my relatives has a business and it's similar. Now, the interviewer might ask, what kind of business your relative runs? Why don't you go and join the relative's business? In case, that would be quite beneficial. So that's taking it off professionalism. There's nothing to do with the relative's business or how the relative runs the business or why you are not joining the relative's business. You should drag it back by saying, sir, you cannot stay under the shades all the time. You have to come out in the light to fight. You know, like you may use a quote called, smooth seas never made a skillful sailor. Sometimes it might so happen that, when you work with somebody which is known, or, when they're in a family or a relationship, they might not be able to teach me. They will be able to teach me, but they might not be able to help me gain the experience. So, to gain the experience, I have to step out of my comfort zone. Something like that. So, these are the five things that you can do in terms of interview or preparing for interview. Step 1, dress appropriately, arrive in good time, have proper body language, expect the unexpected, and do ask questions. As a candidate, you are supposed to ask questions. Remember, even your teachers would be telling you in class, do you have any doubts, any questions? And everybody is like, no, madam, clear. So sometimes, initially, when the teacher is there for the first few lectures, he or she would have always given a comment, either I am teaching too good and you have understood it all, or I am teaching not so good and you have not understood anything. I have a doubt. Why are you not asking a question? And then, some teachers are more active than you. They're like, okay, you don't want to ask a question, I'll ask you a question now. See, when you ask question, it shows genuine interest. When you ask question, it shows genuine interest. Would you not like to know what would be your working hours? Would you not like to know what kind of roles would you be performing? Or you are like, okay, let it come, when I join I'll see. We don't like that, right? We even like to know, or we all have a preference of working in a particular area. We don't want to work anywhere and everywhere, right? So ask the question. If you don't ask, they'll tell you at the time of the interview, did you ask about the roles? No. Even if it is mentioned clearly, you need to ask, okay, to have more clarity. Ask questions to get answers from the horse's mouth. When I say from the horse's mouth, I mean to say you get a direct answer of not what is written, but somebody telling you something, right? So be prepared to ask questions as well. These are the do's and don'ts. We've already discussed this in details. I'll give you a few minutes to go through it. Remember, being confident is good, but being overconfident is many things that I have placed in a tabular format so you can have a good look at it. As I'm giving you 3-4 minutes of time to have a glance and read what is written. I hope you have gone through things, the do's and don'ts. There are a few references that I have used for it. And do we have any questions now? Do we have any questions? Great. Don't have any questions. That's lovely. As I said, either the teacher is good or it's all over the head. But I take the first option. The teachers and the students both are good. Fine. Now, what are we supposed to do? Remember, as I said, we need to have a mock interview. Now, if you go to the shared file that we have been sharing and we have been using the Google file, and I know you most of us have taken a break over it. I cannot see any book review being uploaded. I cannot see any public speech being there. So I understand you have taken a break, but let's go back to it. Now you can see in the shared file, you will see a subfolder under lab batch A, which is called the interview skills. When you enter the interview skills subfolder, you will see I have added an Excel sheet or a spreadsheet with the title interview panel. Now, understand before you go to all this, you know how it works, right? So, we are going to have mock interviews in our lab session. This is the theory part that we have dealt. Now, we are supposed to have a mock interview. As I said, as a student, you should have experience of both the sides of the table, right? You should have the experience as an interviewer, and you should also have an experience as the interviewee. That's what we are going to do in our lab sessions, right? So, what we are supposed to do right away, what we are supposed to do right away in sheet number one, you are supposed to form panels. Supposed to form panels. In sheet one, you are supposed to form panels of 3 students each. Now, remember, our lab batch is of 19 students. So, one panel will have 4 members, the rest should have 3 members. So, right away, you are supposed to. I've just written panel 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not necessary, we'll form the order. Okay, it's not necessary to form the order, it's just for sequencing things. So 3 people in one panel, and in one group you will have 4 panels, 4 panelists or 4 people in the panel, right? So quickly, I'm giving you 5-7 minutes of time. Quickly, you are supposed to make your panels with 3 students. Okay, quickly write the names, and I request people not to delete any other person's name or make changes without the person's knowledge. Okay, don't do that. So I'm giving you 5-7 minutes of time. Quickly form a panel. We are supposed to form a group of three people. Okay, in one group you will have four, the rest of the groups will be having three people. That's what you are supposed to do in the interview panel. You are supposed to form a panel. Fine. I hope you have formed your groups. Now, if you go down in the same Excel file, you will see sheet number 2. Okay, when you click to sheet 2, I already made a table. Each panel, each panel is supposed to form some questions and possible answers. I'll give you an example, don't worry. When there are three people in a group, a minimum of 6 questions that you would like to ask. Right? So let's say you write your panel number here, panel 1. So what is the question? Introduce yourself. Now, most of you would ask that, Madam, this question is common. See, the question is common, but the way of asking the question can be many different ways. Let's say, tell me, so, see, what would you write in the possible answer? You're supposed to write framing sentences that my name is dash. Okay, you keep a dash because whosoever is going to introduce, they'll put in their name in the blank. Or you can say, I am dash and whatever you want. Okay, this is just an example which I am quoting over here. So minimum of 6 questions from each panel. That is 2 questions per student. Okay, we're trying to create Remember, we are trying to create a sort of an interview question bank. In case, why are we doing it? When we do something practically, you'll be able to remember it better when you are actually appearing for your interview. We're trying to prepare you for it. Okay? I'm trying to prepare you for it. Right now, what you will do is each panel member has to give two questions, or you discuss together as a panel, and you have to form at least six questions. Right? I have given a few SR numbers and I have done a few things, but you need to work further on it. Don't worry about it. Okay? Even if, let's say, panel 2 also asks the questions or says that one of the question is introduce yourself, that is fine. Then how would you answer it differently? How would panel 2 make their answer different from panel 1? Now here, the order of the panel is not required. Okay, let's say here first question panel 1 has typed, second question panel 2 has typed, then again panel 1 is typing. I don't have a problem, but I want to see the number panel number 1 6 times, panel number 2 6 times, so on and so forth. So you may keep aside question 1 and 2, or maybe you can write the possible answer. I've just written one sentence, you may write the possible answer there and complete the questions. I'm giving you 10 minutes of time to complete the questions in sheet number 2, question and possible answer. What you can do is you discuss with your panel member, one of you starts typing the question, the other one starts writing the answer, or you assign each panel member two questions. The person is supposed to write the question as well as the possible answer, right? So some numbers I have given. I have given question numbers till 3030. You can move forward, it's not limited. Okay, you have to further edit it. So start working on it. I'm giving you 10 minutes of time to work on this. I hope I'm clear and you are able to view the second sheet. Are you able to view the second sheet? Yes and no would help. Okay, it's visible, right? So, and the instructions are clear, right? So, start working on it. 10 minutes of time given to prepare for it. Okay, I see that you have been writing good questions and you've been answering it as well. What you may do is you may complete this question answer sheet by the end of the day, because we still have a quiz to attempt. So, your quiz for today, we need to attempt it within the lab session itself. So, here is the link for your quiz for today's session. So, first, please complete the quiz, and the remaining questions and possible answers you may complete by the end of the day. You may complete by the end of the day. So, please attempt your quiz now. We have a quiz over here. Excellent. Everybody has now completed the quiz. So, what you need to do is you need to complete the question for mock interviews. You need to complete the question for mock interviews by the end of the day, right? And remember, in the next lab session, remember, I'll not allow anybody to do anything else, but in the next lab session we are supposed to prepare for our group discussion. Topics have been assigned. If you still have doubts with the topic, you can always come back to me, drop a message or a mail and ask that what do you exactly want us to discuss. But the topics seem to be quite clear. Please work on it, and next time we'll be doing group discussion only. Okay, this preparation of mock interview questions will go on in the background. Next week, first we will complete group discussion and then we'll go on to other things. I hope I'm clear. The second instruction that I wish to provide is, because of this mid semester exam coming, I have not given you the schedule for your book review presentation. Okay, remember, because of the mid semester exam been announced, I have delayed or I've postponed the presentation for your book reviews. It will now be in the fourth week of August, after the week for exam ends. Okay, not before that. Fine. So do not worry. I've deliberately not given you a date or a schedule right now because of the announcement of the mid semester exam. It will be given to you by the end of this week. And changes will be made and you will be given the schedule for your book review. I hope we do not have any doubts. Fine. I take that this as no doubts from your side. Uh, I've already taken the attendance while you attempted your quiz, so do not worry about the attendance part. I've already taken the attendance while you attempted your quiz. And that is it for the day. We'll call it a day now. Thank you, class. Have yourself a very nice day. Thank you.